Welcome back, whisky fans. December the 20th. Sleigh bells are being primed as we speak. Nearly on the bottom row of the calendar. I've just realised you can't see that. Nearly on the bottom row of the calendar. I don't know why that door started to come open. But yeah, 5 drams are left after today, which is not many. I've had a couple of slightly disappointing ones lately, at least in my opinion, because I am not a fan of weak whisky. I think that it really hampers the flavours. Alcohol is flavour, and when you put more water in, so you have less alcohol in the mix, you have less flavour. That smells sherried and spicy. Very spicy. Clean glass. So today's dram on the 20th of December is this. So medium colour. I don't know if it's just me, but on my monitor it looks like it's got a slight greenish tint. Might just be the white balance on my camera. But yeah, medium gold. A little bit of youth. Immediately, one of the first things that I'm smelling on this one is that it smells a little bit immature. And by youth, what I mean is it smells like it's got a slight starchiness to it. Kind of like the starchy aroma that you get when you're cooking pasta or spaghetti and you've got that starchy scum in the pot. Do you know what I mean? Does that sound crazy? Probably. Never mind. Slightly starchy youthfulness and a very peppery spiciness, black pepper and licorice, oak spice and probably sherry oak spice. So probably some European oak Oloroso casks in this one. Certainly not a sweet whisky, at least not on the nose. It's very much that dry side of sherry. But quite youthful. Smells to me like probably like a 5-year-old whisky. A little bit of sawn oak on the nose as well, perhaps. Let's see how it tastes. Not bad. Again, sawn oak, oak spice, a little bit of a bitter oakiness, perhaps a little bit of cardamom, some dry cereally gristy grains, toasted grist. Orangey maltiness, and it's really only on like the second half of the palate where the sweetness really comes through on this one, and I think that sweetness is all coming through from the malt itself. I would guess this is probably a 43% whiskey, so that's a little bit crap that we've had, 3 lowish strength whiskies in a row, because we had such a good run. I think on, I don't know, probably like the second and third row of the calendar, we had some really good things like the Deanston, the Distel trilogy with the Deanston, Ledaig and the Bunnahabhain. Really good stuff. It seems like we're getting a few more weak, low strength drams now. But to be fair, I don't think this is the worst of them. I think this is better than the 40%ers that we had yesterday and the day before. It's better than the Ancnoc, better than the Glengoyne and the Tomatin and the old Pulteney. Definitely smells a little bit young though. And to be honest, I think because we haven't got a lot of we haven't got any world whiskies in this calendar like we have on the previous Master of Malt calendars, there's always quite a few Irish and world whiskies, because this is the Scotch whiskey single malt collection from Really Good Whiskey Company. We haven't got those world whiskies and things like that, so I think that the average age and the average maturity definitely is a lot higher on this Advent calendar than it was in the previous Master of Malt ones, which is why the youth on this one is a little bit of a slap in the face, because it was kind of unexpected. It's not to say it's bad though. I think it's got some interesting sherry notes in it, and it's a dry, more interesting sherry. It's not just your flavour dipped, sherry seasoned American oak. It smells and tastes to me like it's had some proper European sherry butts in it. Spicy, peppery, a little bit young, with some sweet orangey maltiness coming through on the late palate. Decent. And if you infer that decent to mean a little bit of disappointment, you're not wrong. So where is this one going to go on the leaderboard? Not as good as the Parkmore. What about the Tamdhu? I think not as good as the Tamdhu. Denny, Old Pulteney, Tomatin. I think this one can go just above the Ancnoc, above the Ancnoc 12. I don't know why, but I just automatically took the bottle out there and looked at what it was. It's a Glenfarclas. So it's I think that's the standard Glenfarclas of the range, and it's 40%. So in one way of looking at it is it's crap that we've got another 40% whiskey, but also I expected that to be a 43. I think it's got that little bit more intensity and body and a little bit more going on with it than you would expect for the average 40% whiskey. Which is why I put it over that Ancnoc. But below the Old Pulteney, which to be fair is also 40%. And also a little bit surprised that this is Glenfarclas 10-year-old, because it didn't really smell like a 10-year-old whiskey on the nose to me. That starchiness. Really interesting to hear if any of you guys out there also get a starchy, grainy character on whiskies that you perceive as youth, because I certainly do. And I think that that one has got that proper spaghetti water starchiness that I always kind of assume or associate with youthful whiskies or whiskies that have been matured in less active casks. And I'm not a huge fan of that. So I'm a little bit surprised to get those aromas in a 10-year-old whiskey. There have been no age statement Glenfarclases in the past. Obviously Glenfarclas 105 is a no age statement whiskey, and I think that the current stuff that you can get, it's really good value and really good fun with some really bold flavours from that high strength. But you can also tell that it is a young whiskey, because it also has those gingery oak spice notes and a little bit of that starchiness. But I think that the Glenfarclas 105, for the price it sells for, is a really good, worthwhile whiskey. And they also had I think it's called Glenfarclas Springs, which is going back quite a few years now, but that was another Glenfarclas no age statement whiskey. So that one is interesting, and it's probably worth the price it sells for, but it's going to go in quite low on the leaderboard. Let me know what you think of Glenfarclas 10, and if you agree with where I'll put it on the leaderboard, because it's all subjective. I'm not an authority on whiskey, and I don't want to be. But yeah, it's not my favourite whiskey. It's not my favourite Glenfarclas even. Thanks for watching, see you tomorrow, and cheers.